UFC Las Vegas 118. What a shocker. What a shocker. Belal Muhammad may have just fought himself out of any championship discussion or relevance of any kind. And the scary part is it wasn't because Gabriel Bonfim was unstoppable. It was because Belal Muhammad completely abandoned the style that made him so popular, so dominant as a UFC champion in the first place. Yes, guys, UFC Las Vegas 118 was an absolute shocker. What a card. We had Bryce Mitchell on the card, Brendan Allen, Tom Nolan. All of these guys that I just mentioned won their fights. Belal Muhammad came in as a favorite, but he was absolutely outclassed in a lopsided event. I don't even know what I saw, guys. I mean, he was dominated for 25 straight minutes, 5 rounds. Every scorecard from the judge came back 50-45. Belal was frustrated, disgruntled. He was bloodified. He could never really find the answers to the equation. The answers weren't there for him. And Gabriel Bonfim, officially a title contender. I mean, this is the question that everyone needs to ask. I don't know. I mean, this is a pretty big question, guys, and people are going to have to ask this because this wasn't just another loss for Belal Muhammad. This felt like kind of coming to the crossroads of your career, right? I mean, Bonfim entered the fight riding a 4-fight winning streak, but there were still doubts about Bonfim and what he was going to be able to bring to Las Vegas, because I mean, there stood in front of him was a former UFC champion, a guy who's bona fide, who understands the game better than a lot of people do in Belal Muhammad. But it wasn't even close, guys. It wasn't even close. This was completely one-sided. A lot of fans actually were looking at the resume and, Bonfim's resume. They said, okay, you know what? This guy's got some talent, he's coming off a 4-fight win streak, but can Bonfim beat an elite welterweight fighter? Can he do it? Saturday night answered the question, guys. Belal Muhammad may have been coming off some serious. I mean, look, I can't speak to exactly what was going on with this camp, what was going on with Belal Muhammad. Was it dieting? Was it nutrition? Was it just? I mean, the guy knows how to train. He's an unbelievable combatant. I mean, this guy's a former UFC champion. This guy knows. This guy knows what he needs to do. In the octagon, I'm just dumbfounded. Actually, I'm just not really sure what exactly was going on. Look, guys, I mean, Bonfim walked down. I mean, he walked Belal Muhammad down with the cleaner shots. He blasted his legs with low kicks. I mean, controlled the distance. And he basically put on a striking clinic from start to finish. Like I said, Saturday night answered that question. Look, Belal Muhammad has come off some pretty big losses against Jack Della Maddalena, Ian Machado Gary, the most recent one. But this guy's still one of the most talented, smartest, most experienced fighters in the division. His in octagon IQ is next level. I just don't know what happened. Bonfim happened. That's what happened. And I mean, Bonfim was able to control the distance. He basically put on a striking clinic for the world to watch from start to finish. And the craziest part about all this is Belal barely even tried to wrestle the guy. Like, hello, That's your go-to, man. That's what you got to do. And that's where the real story begins. Because I think personally, Belal Muhammad, look, Belal Muhammad didn't actually become a champion because he was a better striker than everyone else. He became a champion because he knew exactly who he was as a fighter. He knew what he had to do. He knew the level of training, how to the kind of preparation that it takes for a fighter to go in and not to be able to just deliver on what that fighter needs to do, but to be able to use all the resources, all the tools in your tool belt, as so to speak. A lot of people like to use that as an analogy. He knows how to be able to do what he needs to do in any given situation. Okay, there's pressure, there's cardio, there's wrestling, there's control, there's making sure that you have that relentless pace. These are the things that are like ingredients to a winning combination, especially when you're in the octagon, and very, very few people have it. Belal Muhammad has all those skills and more. That's why he's a former champion. He's still, despite these 3 back-to-back losses, he's still the go-to guy when it comes to like he could train anybody. He could be like the best coach right now if he wanted to go into coaching. I mean, amount of mentorship you could get from him, his just experience alone sets Belal Muhammad like leagues ahead of many of the welterweight fighters in that division. But watching Belal, I mean, increasingly willing to stand and trade a lot more, willing to prove something that he doesn't actually need to prove. I mean, stick to what you do, dude. Get into the wrestling is such a huge component when it comes to MMA. You want to box? You want to be a boxer? Look, I'm exaggerating here a little bit, right? But look, he was standing and trading, and it didn't work out for him. He did it against Jack Della Maddalena. It hurt him. Okay, he did it against Ian Machado Gary. It hurt him. He tried to do it against Gabriel Bonfim last night, and it buried him. And by the time Belal attempted his first takedown in the 3rd round, first takedown, guys, in the 3rd round, Bonfim was already comfortably ahead. I mean, even worse, guys, honestly, Bonfim, like he stuffed that takedown in the 3rd round. His first takedown attempt was stuffed. And that too came in the 3rd round. This was Bonfim's fight. This was Bonfim's night. The Brazilian got a lot out of this fight because now he's in the now he's a contender. All right? And for Belal, he ended up doing what he was known not to do, which is fight another guy's fight. Bonfim's boxing was more superior. It was sharper. His timing was cleaner. His kicks were damaging. All right? Bonfim's reactions were a lot faster, and perhaps most importantly, and I hate to say this, but you can't beat Father Time, guys. You just can't. Bonfim was younger. All of that together is a dangerous combination. So it's definitely worth giving Bonfim the nod and to have his name in discussions now about a title and possibly being one of the greats now in the welterweight division. All right. So look, for years, the UFC welterweight division, as we know it, guys, has been waiting for their next move. We saw Belal, we saw Leon Edwards. I mean, now we have Jack Della Maddalena holding the title. I mean, Bonfim looks like he could be that guy. And not necessarily because of his victory over Belal, but how he was able to beat Belal, right? Beating a seasoned veteran who has all the resources available to him, the experience, the know-how, the knowledge, everything that goes into becoming a champion. He essentially, Bonfim fought a champion. He did. He fought a former champion. Still championship material. And for him to be able to dismantle a former champion like that, the way he did in 5 straight rounds in a completely lopsided event in his favor, that tells you a lot. Okay? And I'm not just talking about Bonfim stepping up in the championship rounds. He did it all the way through, from round number 1 through round number 5. And then what did he do right after? What did he do right after? He immediately called out JDM. He wants the title. Now, I understand it. I mean, and look, he deserves an immediate title shot. And that's a whole separate conversation, because I'm not the guy in the background and behind the scenes, and I don't know Dana, and I don't know any of the brass at the UFC, but they can make this happen. This is the fight that I think a lot of people are going to want. I think he deserved it. If it was a very, very close fight, there was a lot of back and forth, and it could have gone anyone's way, maybe a rematch would have been warranted, or maybe one more opportunity to fight somebody else to see what he's capable of. But in this case, sorry, man, he needs to go right for it. He needs to fight Jack Della Maddalena, and I think it has to happen soon. But the question that comes down to is what happens to BM? What happens to Belal? Because we're not just talking about one loss. We're not just talking about 2 losses. We're talking about 3 straight defeats, guys, after winning the title back in 2024 in July. I mean, this is how explosive MMA is. This is how explosive the UFC is, because things can change like that in the sport. I mean, just less than 2 years ago, we're talking about Belal, his dominance, sitting on top of the world. He had finally achieved what many fighters may never achieve. He became a UFC champion, similarly to Khamzat Chimaev. Undefeated, king of the world. He beats DDP, wins the title. And just like that, he fights Sean Strickland, and it's over. Dethroned. But losing 3 fights in a row, usually when a fighter loses 2 fights in a row, there's a lot of questions about whether or not that fighter is even going to stay on the roster anymore. But 3 fights in a row. And look, with Belal, it's a little different. This guy's a former UFC champion. He's got skills. He's got a lot of talent. And that's why I'm saying if it was a close fight, he lives on to fight another fight. But he was completely dominated. He was just beaten round after round for 5 straight rounds. Did he show anything to the UFC? Did he show anything to the brass, to the world, that he deserves to still continue to fight in that division at an elite level? I mean, I think 1000% Belal deserves to continue to be in the UFC. I think with everything he's proven and done, gives him that the word I guess I'm looking for is kind of escaping me, but it definitely gives him that opportunity. He should be given that opportunity, because of all that he's done and more for the sport and for the division. But when you lose 3 matches in a row and you get completely dominated in your most recent one, you have to start to wonder, like, what's going on? I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due, because Belal is just a stand-up guy. I mean, look, he, no excuses. He didn't have any excuses. He didn't blame the judges. He didn't blame any injuries. There was no emotional meltdown or talking about it, perhaps maybe a pre-fight injury or anything like some fighters do talk about. They casually kind of bring it out, and then you start to wonder, oh, this guy was fighting with a broken foot or this or that. No, he didn't talk anything like that. Instead, he posted on Instagram saying that he was too blessed to be stressed. Now, talk about gratitude, talk about lessons and lessons learned. I mean, he thanked his supporters, he thanked his team, he thanked the family. I mean, he even took time to congratulate Brendan Allen over his win against Edmem Shabazan. I mean, this video is not about that, but that was that was a co-main event. But Brendan Allen, he moves up to 27-7. What an unbelievable match. At 185, he's starting to show some uh, some brilliance there in his fights. It's absolutely crazy. But right now we're talking about the 170-pound division, and Gabriel Bonfim moves up to 20-1. Belal now down to 24-6. I mean, guys, the responses that Belal, you know, had said and shown. I mean, I think it's enough for people to give him another opportunity, perhaps. I mean, look, you win, you lose, you move forward. I respect that. I get that, but respecting the attitude doesn't really change the reality of the situation that we're in right now, because the reality is Bilal now faces the most important stretch of his entire career, because every fight now is just digging and ripping apart his legacy a lot more. People are starting to question a lot. People are starting to really look at, scrutinize him under a microscope. I mean, the blueprint of beating Belal Muhammad is already out there, and people have done it and are continuing to do it. I mean, it's proven now. There's 3 straight losses in a row. And if Belal seriously wants to compete at this level, at this elite level within this division, and make perhaps maybe another run, I mean, something has to change. And maybe not just something, some things need to change. And that first change will have to start with him being able to identify and really look in the mirror. And the first question he's going to need to ask himself is, should I continue? Right? And then once he's able to actually answer that question, then he's going to have to look at everything, his whole tools in his tool belt, so to speak, and he's going to have to look at each one very carefully with meticulous manner to be able to decide whether or not changes need to be happening in all those different areas, because I think they're going to need to, because the game continues to evolve at a rapid pace. When we're talking about MMA, it changes so often. There's so much happening, so many moving parts. You can't bring your same game plan from 2-3 years ago, bring it in today's environment to think it's going to work, because it may not, but most often the case, it doesn't. You have to be able to change on the fly. You have to be able to understand how to adapt to the situation. We've seen it so many times before with other fighters, almost down and out. They go back to their corner, they talk to their team, they re-strategize, they pivot, and guess what? They come out on top. So Belal needs to find that. He needs to find the answers to the equation. All right? He needs to go back to what made him successful in the first place. That pressure, that wrestling, that relentless pressure, sorry, and then that forward pace. The ugly fights if necessary. Yes, it's going to have to happen. I mean, trying out, strike younger, bigger, elite level specialist stuff isn't really working for him. The evidence is right in front of us. So look, Gabriel Bonfim, UFC 118, he looked like a future title challenger to me. All right. Belal looked like a fighter searching for answers. And that's a very, very dangerous place to be, especially in this sport. As I mentioned before, Brendan Allen won in his fight against Shabazan. He moves up to 27-7. Tom Nolan beat Faraz Ziam. He moves to 11-1. That was a shocker for me. I thought Faraz was going to win. I mean, he's from France, and Tom's from Australia. Australian got the better of him. And then Bryce Mitchell moves up to 19-3. I knew that was going to happen. He won by submission arm triangle choke against Santiago Luna. It was a pretty good card, guys, overall. So UFC 118 for me did not disappoint, but I'm really worried about Bilal, and I really hope I mean, he's a really good guy. He's very talented, and I really hope he can find what he's looking for, find those answers. Maybe he needs to take some time off and just kind of come back to the drawing board, like a brand new, clean drawing board, and start from scratch. I think he could do it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you guys haven't already, please smash a like and subscribe. Hit the notification so you guys never miss a beat. And don't forget, hey, there's plenty of ways to support this channel. It's all right there for you guys. I also, so our times have changed a little bit now. I'm posting videos, long videos for you guys, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and even Sundays as well too. So there's about 4 or 5 long videos a week, and then throughout the week I've got a lot of shorts as well too. So they're highly entertaining. Lots of stuff I want to talk about, guys, and sometimes I don't get a chance to talk. I wish I could do long videos for you guys all day, every day. I just can't do that, unfortunately. But anyways, guys, well, we're continuing to evolve and grow ourselves, and you know, obviously, your support is what's going to continue to give us the fuel to drive us forward to our goal. So, anyways, thanks again for sticking around. The pleasure was all mine. I look forward to catching you guys in our future video. Take a look at these videos, guys. Aren't these great? These are absolutely fantastic.